Hello, everyone, and welcome to TCI of Southern Maine Sports Game of the Week this afternoon from York High School. It's Western Maine Conference softball as the York Wildcats host the Windham Eagles. Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Nelson along with Keith Trefethen. And, Keith, we've got two of the better teams here in the Western Maine Conference today. This Windham team has been hitting the ball. They're undefeated at 3-0.
Yeah, they were in the finals last year in the Western Maine tournament and 14-2 record. Got most of the kids back. It should be pretty exciting to watch today. I think we're going to see a lot of hitting out of this ball club.
Yeah, they ended up losing to Lisbon in the semifinal round last year, and as we mentioned, they scored 20 runs in their first game, Keith, 27 in their second game, and 8 most recently against Freiburg. So it's a very young team too, a lot of freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, very young, but they seem to be coming along quite nicely for the for the coach, and they seem to be having a lot of confidence. Watching them hit today for batting practice, it looks like they have a lot of confidence with the bat in their hand, so you can see why they scored 20 runs in those 2 games.
Yeah, and they've got a tough pitcher on the mound this afternoon. That is sophomore Kelly Glantz. She pitched a 5-inning no-hitter against Lake Region in the first game of the season. Boy, you see a sophomore pitch a no-hitter, that's a tough sign.
Well, you talked to Coach Serber before the game, and he indicated he's got 4 pitchers that he can go to. So he's got a lot of depth there, and when you get a no-hitter out of anybody at any the type of competition, that's quite a feat, so she must be exciting to watch too.
Yeah, as far as the York Wildcats are concerned, Keith, as we know, traditionally a very good ball club. They've started off 3-1, a tough 15-1 loss to Wells is their only loss of the season, but they had an exciting come-from-behind 7th-inning win over Kennebunk on Friday, 8-7.
Bob always seems to get his ball clubs prepared and ready to play, no matter what kind of people might think he has for talent. They're very well coached, and they come out here with a real easy-to-going attitude that don't put a lot of pressure on themselves, and I think that really helps them when they win.
Yeah, they'll be starting a sophomore also this afternoon, Keith, Brenda DeBerry, so we're going to see a couple of young pitchers.
Yeah, it'll be a question, you get the wind blowing in, it's a little chilly here, and it'll depend on who gets into the groove, I think, early enough, and how many runs they get behind them.
Okay, it should be a good one. 3-0 Windham against 3-1 York. Keith and I will be back with the opening pitch on Game of the Week right after these messages.
If you live in York County and want local sports coverage, nobody does it better than the Journal-Tribune. We do more local sports than anyone, and we do it better. The Journal-Tribune is in your community every day with local sports stories. Stories about your family, your friends, your neighbors, and your favorite team. Local sports, nobody does it better than the Journal-Tribune.
Basketball, Sports Stop, equipment that's designed for winning. Racquetball, soccer, kicking, you can score all this and more. Sports Stop.
It's the season for sports, and Sports Stop is ready. We carry a large selection of sports equipment and accessories, so you don't have to go from store to store to find what you're looking for.
Here at Sports Stop, we're in for sports. Sports Stop.
And welcome back, everyone, to York High School for this afternoon's contest between the Wildcats and the Eagles, Western Maine Conference softball. Glad you could join us. Once again, I'm Eric Nelson, along with Keith Trefethen and crew on TCI of Southern Maine as the York Wildcats are warming up as we're ready to get this one underway. Let's take a look at the batting lineup for the visiting Windham Eagles, who come in here with a record of 3 wins and no losses under head coach Mark Serber in his 7th year. Leading off and playing in center field, Whitney Swan. Batting second, the left fielder, Lisa McVeigh. Batting third, the second baseman, Julie Tyler. Batting in the cleanup spot and doing the pitching, Kelly Glantz. Batting fifth, the shortstop, Payson Swan. Batting sixth, Kristen Diamond. Seventh, Lauren Abrams. Eighth, Heather McCormick. And ninth, Bridget Lee. And for the Wildcats defensively, Brenda DeBerry on the mound, Sharon Orchard behind the plate, a couple of sophomores, Joanna Brown at first, Lindsay Plaisted at second, Liza Brown at short, Sam Demaray at third, and Kate Zacharias, Tracy Yangston, Chrissy McCardle in the outfield. All right, let's get to the first pitch of this afternoon's ball game. Swan takes ball 1 from Brenda DeBerry, the sophomore pitcher. DeBerry has yet to pitch in this season. And there's strike 1.
I think the key for her early in the game is probably as well as to gain more confidence is just throw strikes and just be around the plate as much as she can.
That will be a base hit into right field, just over the second baseman, Plaisted's head. And Swan is on with a base hit.
Again, Swan takes the ball where it's pitched and just slaps it out into just over the second baseman, placed it, and this, I think that's what you're going to see out of this ball club, taking the ball where it's pitched and just hitting the ball. You know, scoring 20-something runs in 2 games. They do well with a ball, with a bat.
Lisa McVeigh laying down the bunt, and she'll be safe with a base hit. Brown throws into second, and the runner is back. So a couple of quick hits here for Windham. The bunt single by Lisa McVeigh, the left fielder. So the Eagles with the first 2 runners on in the game. Umpires for this afternoon's game, Carolyn Vale behind the plate, and Mr. Murphy out on the bases. Here's Julie Tyler, the second baseman. Bluffs the bunt, and it's strike 1.
She bluffs down the bunt. I think what it does is it indicates exactly what York's going to do. With third baseman coming in, shortstop's going to cover third base on the bunt situation. So let's see what happens here as Coach Serber is throwing out the signals down there at third base.
Fastball hit toward right field. Playable. Good catch. Throw back to first base. Chrissy McCardle with the catch in right field is 1 out.
Again, I don't think that's the pitch Tyler wanted to take to right field. Being a number 3 hitter, you expect probably a little bit better contact on the ball. So let's see what happens here with 1 out.
Here's Kelly Glantz, the sophomore pitcher for Windham High School. And DeBerry has been right around the plate, Keith. She's been throwing strikes.
Oh, I think that's the key. You know, she doesn't look like, at this particular stage, doesn't look like she has a lot of velocity, but she's got to have the control and be around the plate. Spot that ball.
Oh, nice stop at third base by Demaray. Big, big play for York there, Keith.
See, that pays the dividends. If you've got a pitcher who's going to be around the plate, you can see Demaray come up with that ball down there at third base and just did a great job. You know, defense, if it's behind you, can really help you in the long run.
Sam Demaray with the big catch at third base off the hot shot by Glantz. And there are 2 outs here in the top half of inning number 1. Going to bring up Payson Swan, the shortstop. She is the younger sister of Whitney Swan. They're a freshman and sophomore duo. Payson is the freshman. Ball 1. That's only 2 pitches that DeBerry has thrown out of the strike zone of the first 5 batters.
And they haven't been right across the plate type of strikes either. She's been trying to hit the corners and all that kind of stuff.
Quick throw back to third, and the runner is back.
Again, a unique way to cover third. That time, shortstop Brown comes in behind her, and with Demaray staying where she is, sometimes the runner might not think she's going to be covered.
Strike 1 makes the count 2-1 to Swan. The play still on for York as they keep Demaray in. Brown going to cover at third. So Windham with runners at second and third and 2 outs. High for ball 3. Again a throw, and it gets through, and Windham's going to score. 1-0 Eagles on the error.
Again, just too many times going down to third with the ball, and that time Brown wasn't all the way over, and when Orchard went to throw the ball down, it looks like she hesitated a little bit and threw to the bag, but Brown wasn't there, and the ball got through.
So Windham leads at 1-0, moves the runner up to third. 3-1 the count to Swan. Walked her. First walk of the game. And Windham now with runners at first and third and 2 outs. And it will bring up Kristen Diamond, the junior right fielder.
See what happens here with Swan on first and runner on third with 2 out if they're going to send her, and what York is going to do.
Pitch is in the dirt. The runner will hold. The runner at first, Swan, does move to second. Not a lot of foul ground here, Keith, so it's tough to advance.
No, you have to be moving on the pitch, basically, and hope that if the ball goes through, you can advance all the way home, or the ball skirts away that you can get all the way, because that's the only way you're going to make it.
2-0 to Diamond. Runners now at second and third for Windham. 1 run here for him in the first. High for ball 3. So now DeBerry, after pitching very quickly to the first 5 batters, having a little bit of trouble finding the strike zone. Right at the knees, and that's strike 1. And again, they throw down to third base. Fly ball to McCardle. She makes the catch. And the side is retired. McCardle making a couple of the putouts in right field. So York evades further damage. 1-0 Windham after a half inning.
You know, Orchard had a little difficulty on that throw down there, but the next time she throws down, one of the nice things I hear, and maybe you folks at home heard it, Coach Butler saying to a nice throw down there, that's where we want the ball. That's where they want it. So it's a matter of gaining confidence and not thinking that she did something that was so bad that they can't recover from it. I like Coach Butler's attitude, and he's been like that for many, many years here at York. That positive attitude in teaching the kids the game of softball. Just a great job.
Okay, Windham comes up with 1 run on 2 hits in the top of the inning. There was 1 York error, and the Eagles end up leaving 2 on the bases in the top of the first. So we'll go to the bottom half of inning number 1. Take a look at the hometown Wildcat lineup. Leading it off and playing in center field will be Tracy Yingst. Batting second, the third baseman Sam Demaray. Batting third, the pitcher Brenda DeBerry. Batting fourth, first baseman Joanna Brown. Batting fifth, the right fielder Chrissy McCardle. Batting sixth, the second baseman Lindsay Playstead. Batting seventh, the shortstop Liza Brown. In the number 8 spot is the left fielder Kate Zacharias. And in the 9th spot, and doing the catching, will be Sharon Orchard. Defensively for the Eagles of Windham High School, on the mound, sophomore Kelly Glantz. Behind the plate, senior Heather McCormick. At first base, Lauren Adams. At second, Julie Tyler. At shortstop, Payson Swan. And at third base, Bridget Lee. And in the outfield for Windham, from left to right, it's Lisa McVeigh, Whitney Swan, and Kristen Diamond. So as they recover a loose ball out in right field, we're ready to get underway in the bottom half of inning number 1. York a record of 3-1, Windham a record of 3-0. I mentioned Windham has scored 55 runs in their 3 games, so they can put some on the board. Here's Tracy Yingst. Ball 1 to her. Yingst looking for her first hit of the season. She is 0 for 7, but has walked 4 times, so a decent on-base percentage. 1-1 the count to her.
See a little difference in both pitches here. DeBerry with a short modified type of windup, and you've got Glantz here with a full windup with the arm swing totally all the way around. So gives a little more velocity. Plus you can see how she rotates her body and moves her hips to the side and moves her body to the side so she can get the weight of her body into the pitch as well.
And it hits her. Hit her on the left arm. And Tracy Yingst will take her base. Pitch rode in on her, Keith, and got her right near the elbow.
She crowds the plate a little bit, and the ball was up and in a little bit, and she went to get out of the way, traditionally moving back away from the ball, and her arm got in the way, and she got struck right on the forearm.
Here's Sam Demaray, the third baseman. Follows the bunt back to the screen. Demaray, for the season, batting .222, 2 for 9. Demaray, for her career, a very good batter, .345, second on the team in active at bats. As Yingst off, here's the throw, and she's in there with a stolen base.
Coach Butler has Demaray lay the first one down. She fouls it off, but what it does, it pulls Windham in a little bit to play a little tighter on the corners. Plus, their shortstop and second baseman are in pretty tight.
And Demaray strikes out.
And then the next pitch, she has Yingst go, so she's on second. But now we have, what, 2 out, Eric?
1 out.
1 out, I'm sorry.
1 out, and it's going to bring up the pitcher, Brenda DeBerry. DeBerry batting .300 on the year, 3 for 10. Would like to thank Bob Butler a great deal for all the statistics he has supplied us, Keith. A very active, or accurate, and comprehensive listing of all the stats as Yinks moves over to third on the wild pitch.
Again, the ball gets wide by McCormick, and then Yinks goes all the way to third. So he's got a person in scoring position, 1 out, and making a bid here. But yeah, we always have a good time when we come down here to York. Bob treats us really well and just does a super job for us.
Ball is punched foul. So it's 1-2 to DeBerry. And he's given us stats for this season, career stats for all the players on this year's club, and also the leaders in each category for his team. Ball is high. Yinks come to the plate. Here's the throw. She's safe under the tag. Tracy Yinks scores, and we're tied at 1.
Yeah, and she's moving on the pitch. The minute she sees the ball go through McCormick's hand, she's coming all the way to the bag, all the way to the plate. So Yinks gets on with a hit pitch, and then her moving, the aggressiveness of York's base runners gets her at home.
So some aggression there by the Wildcats ties the game at 1. Strike 3 on DeBerry. She goes down looking, so Glantz has struck out the last 2 batters. And it's her second strikeout. So really, you talk about manufacturing a run. York has done that, Keith. A hit batsman turns out to be a run for him.
Well, we've seen York do that in the past. You know, they'll find a way to win, and they'll find a way to get some runs. And that time was a classic example. Somebody getting hit, and then a couple pass balls, and the aggressiveness of the runner, and they're home. You know, and that comes from Bob, too. Bob likes to get his people moving and make some plays happen out there to see what Windham's going to do defensively.
Here's Joanna Brown, the first baseman. Ground ball that goes foul. 1-1 the count to Joanna Brown, who is second on the team in hitting this year, or technically third. Brown 9 for 17, batting .529. Tie for the lead in RBIs with 6. A 4-way tie. Hits that long and foul, and that will be out of play. So the count to her is 1-2. Brown on her career, a .388 hitter. 50 hits and 129 at bats, and that leads active players on this year's York club. 2-2 the count. The thing is, she's just a junior, Keith, so she will continue to add to those statistics for a couple of years. Jessica Martell, who is not here at today's game, leads the team in batting at 1,000. She's 3 for 3 through 2 games. Sharon Orchard, the other top hitter, she's 6 for 11. And that's ball 3. We should mention that Jessica Martell in the Wells game a week ago, Keith, turned around to field a foul pop behind the plate, lost the ball in the sun, caught it right on her eye, and actually broke the orbital bone, and will be out for another 7 to 10 days.
Well, that's a tough break.
Oh, Brown ripping it over Coach Butler's head at third. She get around on that pitch.
Well, you know, Glantz might show you that she has that overpowering type of speed, but Brown is up for the task, and she's going to have to spot the ball a little bit better to get Brown on her strikes.
2-strike count to Brown. Misses outside, and we got ourselves a full count.
Yeah, that time she comes outside with a pitch. She got another one of the York batters, I can't remember which one, on a strikeout on an outside pitch on the third called strike.
Brown draws the walk. It's the first time she has walked this season. York has drawn 37 walks in 4 games, so they average 9 walks a game, and Brown is on with 2 outs. So good at bat for Joanna Brown.
Excellent. She staved off some really good pitches and really got around well on the ball. So she needs to feel real confident up there. Then Glantz goes to the outside with a couple pitches and doesn't get that third strike because she's too far out. Get a shot here of the umpires conversing over probably either a technical thing that they're discussing at this point, I would assume.
Yeah, it's caused a A slight delay in the action. I'm not sure. We're not quite in earshot of them, so we do not overhear what they are talking about, but it's caused a little bit of a delay after Brown's 2-out walk.
I think they're talking about the pitcher and her wind-up or her delivery or where she's stepping on the mound. I don't know if this was brought up or if Mr. Murphy, the umpire out there, had noticed something that they want to talk to her about. But right now,
So they're talking about it with Kelly Glantz, the sophomore pitcher. And now Coach Serber is coming out of the dugout, and he wants to find out what's going on.
right. Well, you know, I mean, they're fooling around with his pitcher right now, so he's trying to.
And he does not want that. I'm not sure. Something about what the transfer of the ball possibly, Keith, is maybe being...
He doesn't look like he's a too happy camper about it either, but...
No, Coach Serber has gone back to the dugout, really without saying anything, Keith.
Yeah.
He walked out, and I don't know if it's... what she's doing maybe is close to a balk. I don't know. But they're certainly taking their time in explaining. I don't know if her foot... Boy, this is... I mean, this is just pure speculation on our part.
I got a feeling it's something to do with the placement of the ball.
Yep.
She's moving it in and out of her glove. Now, I don't know... I'm not... And maybe I should grab the rule book a little bit here, but I'm not up as to what the responsibilities of the pitcher are, is to delivering the ball or having the ball in her hand or out of her hand, or what the story is here. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So anyway, York with a with a runner at first base. We're ready to get back underway. They've got 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. We're tied at 1. Here's the right fielder, junior Chrissy McCardle. Brown bluffs on the pitch. McCardle on the young season so far is 1 for 6 with a 167 batting average. She does lead the team in walks. She's tied with Becky Samo with 6 walks. The count is 1-1 to McCardle. York, a couple of base runners here in the first inning. No hits, though. They have a hit batsman and a walk. McCardle looks at it low. And ball 2. Sunny afternoon here in New York, but it is a little on the cool side. Need the undershirt today, Keith. A little windy, as it usually is right near the beach.
Certainly do.
McCardle swings through that one, and that is strike 2. So Glantz is a pitch away from striking out the side here in the first inning. Got a piece of it, foul ball. Fielded by Bridget Lee, the third baseman. So McCardle stays alive in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. McCardle toward the hole, off the third baseman's glove. McCardle reaches on the error. Lee a little bit ahead of herself, maybe thinking about the throw before she had the catch.
Well, she was there, and perhaps your speculation is right, Eric, because it was an easy, playable ground ball. No bad hops there. She just moved a little bit too quickly.
So York with runners at first and second, and that is strike 1 to Lindsay Playstead. Playstead playing at second base this afternoon. She is a junior, currently batting .462, 6 for 13 on the season. Hits that hard and foul. She quickly falls behind in the count 0-2. Playstead over her career for the Wildcats, a .289 hitter. Punch back to the screen. Keeps it alive with the foul tip. 3 camera coverage for you this afternoon. Hope you're enjoying it from York High School. 0-2 the count to Playstead. Boy, an excuse me swing. And there was no thud, so it missed our truck.
I cringed a little bit because I thought for sure it'd come off the roof that time, but it didn't.
So the count remains 0-2. Apparently what the pitcher might be doing is going to her mouth and then going right to the ball. That is a line drive and caught. A nice catch by Julie Tyler, the second baseman. So Windham gets out of any further trouble by having Playstead line out to Tyler at second base. And we have played an inning from York High School, and we are all tied on the Star Mountain Motor scoreboard at 1-1. What was this? Is she going to her mouth?
Stop. Don't buy a water filtration system from someone you don't know. Don't pay more for a system than you should. Don't buy from someone who won't service what they sell. Hi, I'm Carl Dunbar. I own Dunbar Water Filtration. I have been installing and servicing residential and commercial water filtration systems in southern Maine for 8 years. I service what I sell, and to me, customer satisfaction is number one.
We bought our water filtration system from Carl Dunbar about 6 years ago, and we're very happy with our water, and the service has been excellent.
Do you enjoy playing sports in your leisure time? If you do, you don't want to be laid up. So if a recreational sports injury has put you on the sideline, contact the professionals at the Merrill Clinic of Chiropractic, Route 1 in Wells. They possess state-of-the-art testing equipment to diagnose your injury and the proper form of treatment. Chiropractic heals the body without the use of drugs, medication, or surgery. Stay off the disabled list by visiting the folks at Merrill Clinic of Chiropractic, Route 1 in Wells, the first step on your road to recovery.
Back at York High School on TCI of Southern Maine's Game of the Week. Eric Nelson with Keith Trefethen. We are tied at 1. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left for Windham. For York, 1 run, no hits, 1 error, and also 2 runners left as we go to the top of the second. 7, 8, 9 hitters for Windham. Lauren Abrams, the freshman first baseman, takes a strike from Brenda DeBerry as we start the second inning of play. And a lot more discussion, Keith, about what Kelly Glantz was doing on the mound.
Yeah, from what we could gather, it has something to do with the place of the ball. Once her foot is on the mound, whether it's in the hand or out of the or in the glove, I'm not quite sure. But it had something to do with that. It's a mechanical thing that that perhaps is an interpretation of the rule that you can look at it one way or the other. So it has something to do with placement of the ball.
Hit hard, down to Eliza Brown at shortstop. Nice throw over to her sister Joanna, and there's one away. So the Browns team up on the putout. One out for Windham, and it's going to bring up Heather McCormick, the catcher. As you see, Eliza Brown, the sophomore shortstop for York. McCormick, the senior catcher. According to Coach Mark Serber, a very good defensive catcher, and she must be, Keith. This is her 4th year as a starter as catcher.
I've always said it takes a special breed of person to be behind the plate, and somebody can do it 4 years. I admire that.
1-1 the count to her. Slow roller. Demaray will have to do it quickly. Over to first. 2 away.
Denver is playing in so close that easy rollers like that would almost be a bunt type situation. She's right on top of him and did a nice job that time as well.
She's made a couple of nice plays, Keith. She made what was a big play on a hard hit ball by Glantz back in the first. It really saved York a run.
Yeah, it did. She's just a good defensive player, and she's done a good job for them over there.
Strike 1 to Bridget Lee, the number 9 hitter for Windham. She is the 3rd baseman, a senior, one of 2 seniors that starts for this Windham team. McCormick is the other one. There's strike 2. There are only 3 seniors on this Windham team, Keith. They start 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores. It's half your team.
Just tells you they have a lot of talent there.
Boy, DeBerry quickly to first, and a lickety split. 1, 2, 3. Second inning. For Windham, they go up and down on 3 groundouts and some good fielding by the Wildcats in that inning.
Yeah, just again, you're not trying to overpower people. You're trying to throw those strikes, and if you're keeping the ball down and you're throwing strikes, inevitably you're going to get a lot of ground ball situations, and we saw it in that that half inning with the ball down around the plate. You're making the hitters, but they're hitting the ball down, and defensively, if you can get the ball down and get some help, you really can get out of these innings, and you don't have to have that overpowering type of pitcher. So that's what we saw this time, and it did well for York in that half inning.
Okay, see some of the crowd on hand on a nice Monday afternoon in York. You can see it is a little cool, kind of bundled up a little bit. As you know, the wind, excuse me, comes right off the ocean into here, and that's actually helped York in some respects, Keith, because they've been able to play all their games. They're one of the few teams that has not had a postponed or had to move a date or cancel a game because of weather. I mean, they have played, this is their fifth game. They played 4 of them at home, and they haven't missed a beat yet, so
Yeah,
I guess they have been fortunate.
Yeah, I think what helps them, though it looks a little swampy around here, it's the elevation of the field. It's open. There isn't any shade around it to hinder the drying process. Plus, you're really close to the ocean, so you get a lot of wind motion, too. So with the sun and the wind, they probably dried this field out in nice shape for them, and they've been fortunate for sure.
Okay, as you see, we've got 3 camera coverage for you this afternoon at York High School. Steve Twombly over there on top of the York dugout. You can see him in your picture. He is operating that camera, an unmanned camera behind home plate, and then Rob Fernhaber is over on the Windham dugout, over on the first base side. As you see, the 2 umpires taking a long look at Kelly Glantz and what she is doing on the mound as far as her windup is concerned. Directing in the truck, as he has been all spring for us and doing a fine job, that is Paul Mannion. So that's the crew that's on hand this afternoon. So we go to the bottom of the second, tied at 1. And it will be 7, 8, and 9, the hitters for York, as we wait for Whitney Swan to take her position in center field. All right, here's Liza Brown. First pitch to her is the ball. Brown on the season, batting .214. 3 for 14 this year. 2-0 does manage to have 6 RBIs, which is pretty remarkable on the benefit of just 3 hits.
That's what you call timely hitting.
Yeah, got them when they've counted. And 3-0. Three and 1, the count to Brown. Well, we'll see how all of this discussion on the mound affects Glantz, Keith.
Yeah, I'm trying to observe that now. She seems to not allow this stuff to intimidate her or fluster her at all. She seems to have, she's really well focused in what she's trying to do out there, and again, she gets called 3 strikes on that strikeout on that particular play. So she really I think she's focused on what she's trying to do out there.
She came back. She had fallen behind to Brown 3-0. Came back and struck her out swinging. That's the 3rd strikeout for Kelly Glantz. And with 1 out, here is Kate Zacharias, the left fielder. Strike 1 to her. Zacharias batting .250, just 1 for 4. So very preliminary stats, just 4 at bats.
Well, Glantz looks like she just, when she's off a little bit, I think she thinks about her mechanics, which and a lot of times is what it is. You know, mechanically you want to be in the right place, make the same step all the time, give the same look all the time with the body, with the rhythm of your body. And when she feels like she's off, I think that's what she's concentrating on. And for a sophomore, that's quite remarkable.
Line drive right to the first baseman, Lauren Abrams, making the catch. And Zacharias is retired. There's Lauren Abrams, freshman first baseman. She's out there, and Payson Swan, the shortstop, is a freshman. And here we've got Sharon Orchard, the catcher for the Wildcats. She is a sophomore. Orchard, as we mentioned, the leading hitter for average on this team. At least anyone with any at bat. She's batting .545, 6 for 11. Also 6 runs batted in, and the count to her is 2-1. So 2 outs for the Wildcats here, home half of the second. And we are tied at 1. Two and two.
See, Glantz likes to work extremely quick. She's stepping right in there, and if the batter's not really prepared, she could be moving the ball right by you. So as a hitter, the umpire needs to know when you're going to be ready, and you can see right there where Orchard puts her hand up and make sure she's in place before the pitch is made.
And Glantz strikes out Orchard to retire the side 1-2-3 in the second inning. So we have played 2 full from York High School. Take a look at the Star Mountain Motor scoreboard after 2 innings. It's the Wildcats 1 and the Eagles 1.
To celebrate Bonanza's 30th birthday, we're making all the crispy golden shrimp you can eat just $6.99. Only $6.99, and we'll serve them up until you say when. Eat all you can and just say when. That's W-H-E-N. Hurry, this offer ends soon.
When?
Thank you.
Wait, I'm not done yet.
Bonanza, where 30 years means a great deal.
We sure have a lot of these Pontiac Grand Ams, Dave.
Yes, we do. But Pontiac just came out with a $1,000 cash rebate, along with our own special discounts, and all these Grand Ams, we're in the best position to become Maine's #1 Pontiac dealer.
I like it.
Now is the time, folks. We've got the best selection, the best prices, so come on into Star Mountain Motors, Route 109 Sanford, and drive home today in your new Grand Am.
Wow, we are good.
Welcome back to TCI of Southern Maine's Game of the Week, Western Maine Conference Softball, York and Windham. We're tied at 1 as we go to the top of the third. Eric Nelson and Keith Trefethen. For the Eagles of Windham, it's the top of the order. Swan, McVeigh, and Tyler. 1, 2, 3 hitters. Brenda DeBerry had a, I guess you could almost call it a rocking chair. Second inning, 3 groundouts, 1, 2, 3.
Very productive. That's what you like to get out of pitching.
She's missed a little high with the first 2 offerings to Swan. Swan singled to lead off the game and came around to score Wyndham's only run. That's a strike, and that is hit hard and out of play. Swan getting around on that one. You can see the beautiful afternoon that it is here in York. A few clouds, but beside that, very pleasant. You know what we should do, Keith? I've got to bring one of those portable thermometers. You know, Sean McDonough for the Red Sox always says, at game time, the temperature is, wind speed, and direction. We've got to do that. We should bring a barometer and a thermometer with us to game so we can announce that.
Now we're getting really technical.
3-2 to Swan. We should do that, though. You know, the temperature is 58 degrees at game time. It winds out of the northwest at 17 miles an hour.
That sounds right to me. We can make that up as we go.
We probably could. Who's going to doubt us 2 days after the fact?
That's right.
3-2 to the leadoff hitter, Swan.
And again, we don't know if Sean does that or not. He might be faking us too.
He could be. He could be. Swan draws a leadoff walk. That is the second walk surrendered by DeBerry. But we like to be, we'll cover ourselves and we'll just say that it's nice. It's nice and a little cool with a breeze. Here's Lisa McVeigh, the left fielder. Throw down to first, runner is back. McVeigh, remember, quickly laid down a bunt single in her at bat in the first inning, so she's riding a perfect 1-for-1 day. Windham out hitting York 2-0 here into the third inning. Brand new uniforms for York this year, Keith. Pretty nice. Names on the back. A nice royal navy blue that York has. 3-0 to McVeigh.
DeBerry's struggling right now, trying to find the location and to throw the ball. She's been high, she's been low, so she's trying to figure it out herself at this particular point.
Ball 4, and she's had a little bit of trouble here as she walks the first 2 batters. And Sharon Orchard will go out to talk to her. And Keith, you and I have played enough softball and sports to know that once a pitcher walks a couple of batters, you know that the next couple of hitters are going to be up there taking pitches. And if you don't start throwing strikes, they're just going to end up walking around the bases on you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the best thing Orchard could go out there and talk to DeBerry about is everything but softball and about what she's doing. They start talking about, geez, what are you going to do after the game? Something like that. Try to make her relax and feel comfortable and just, just throw the ball nice and easy and throw us some strikes.
Here's Julie Tyler, the second baseman. She flew to McCardle and right her first at bat. So Windham with runners at first and second, nobody out here, top of the third. There's a strike, and it's punched into center field for a base hit. Very quickly, the center fielder, Yingst, is on it. And the runners move up. Close force chance there at second base.
Yeah, a little bit, but the ball was hit so shallow that it really had to have been a very quick play for them, because the runner coming from first to second can see what's happening in front of her. The better play would have been from center field to third base, because then the runner can't see where the ball's coming. But those are tough ones to get.
Third base hit for Windham. They've got the bases loaded. Here's Kelly Glantz, the pitcher. Strike one to her as Orchard throws down to third. Glantz, remember, was retired on a fine play by Desmarais back in the first inning. She hit a hot shot to Desmarais' left. Good cover by Orchard, and the count's 1-1. Kate Cheney is throwing on the side for York if it is necessary for her to come into the game. Hit hard. Yingst over her head. 1 run will score. Second run's coming in. Gets past the cutoff, and it turns out to be a double for Glantz. It's 3-1 Windham.
Nice job. Again, the center fielder is in a little bit, and Glantz just strokes the ball right up the middle and does a nice job on it.
Tyler hesitated to make sure that Yingst could not catch it. Glantz was right behind her at second base.
Well, I think you had to, because the ball, with the wind blowing in a little bit and the ball going up with that rotation of it, it's holding up a little bit. And Yingst, if she'd got a better break on it, might have had a shot at that ball. So, yeah, you got to slow up a little bit and see what's going to happen with that ball.
Ball 1 to Payson Swan, the shortstop. Still nobody out here for Windham. Runners at second and third. Swan walked in the first inning. Ball gets away. The runners will not move up. In there for strike 1. 2-1 the count to Swan. Orchard, a nice job catching that one.
In and up and down. Really, at this particular point, not a lot of confidence in what she's trying to do with the ball. So she needs to really focus on throwing some good strikes here.
And that is ball 4. Swan walks for the second time in the game, and the bases once again for Windham are loaded. So a big spot here with nobody out. Windham has a chance to really have themselves a big inning.
They certainly do, and what's going to help here is if York can get the ball down and get a play on it, and maybe try to roll a double play here.
Here's Kristen Diamond, the right fielder. She's 0 for 1 in the game. She has flown to right. Again, Orchard throwing to third, and the runner is back. Bases loaded, nobody out, 2 runs already in for Windham. There's a strike. That's something you need, Keith, to try to regain that confidence.
Well, you got a little, you hit the corner that time. That gives you some confidence because you get the outside corner. Now you need to come with something decent.
2-1 the count.
Again, that was a pretty decent pitch. It just needed to come up a little bit, it looked like to me.
There's another nice pitch. So the count is 2-2 now to Diamond. Ball 3. Again, a throw to third. Bases are still loaded here. Nobody out. Windham leading 3-1, top of the third. Strike 3. Caught her looking.
Yep, outside part of the plate. Looks like it maybe hit that outside corner, and she got that call strike, and that's a really big boost for her at this point. 1 out, got the third called strike. That gives you a lot of confidence.
First strikeout for DeBerry. Here's Lauren Abrams, the first baseman. She is 0 for 1, grounded to short. 7th batter to come to this inning for Windham. 2-0 the count. Tyler at third, Glance at second, Payson Swan at first. Just 1 out. Over Orchard. Again, the Windham runner with not enough room there to operate. It's going to hold at third base.
Again, we talked about that. The foul backstop is so close to the plate that it's just hard to make that advance unless you're anticipating the pass ball and you can be moving on the pitch.
Yinks did it for York, and she barely made it into the plate in the bottom half of the first. That is strike 1, so it's 3-1. No place to put her. Strike 2. That's the best pitch she's thrown in a while,
pitch.
Keith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like Abrams was way out in front of it, maybe not anticipating that pitch.
Here's the full count pitch. Popped her up in foul ground. Demaray makes the catch, and another big out for the Wildcats. Boy,
that helps you.
Boy, if you get a strikeout and a pop out in the infield with the bases loaded, Keith, those are huge outs, and it brings up the 8-hitter McCormick.
You're breathing a collective sigh of relief right now if you're York. That it really helps you a lot. Now you got to get this third out, and you got more variables here with her.
McCormick 0 for 1 in this afternoon's game. She has grounded to third base. Two and 0. Here, very active benches for both of these teams. Count goes to 3-0. So again, DeBerry with a 3-ball count and the bases loaded. See if McCormick takes this pitch. She does, and it's a strike.
Well, you got to take that pitch, in that situation where she's struggling. And you've got the opportunity with 2 out. It might have been different if you only had 1 out, perhaps, but not in that situation.
Strike 2. Throwing a couple of nice pitches, and she's come back in the count, so it's now full. So once again, DeBerry has gone to a full count pitch with the bases loaded. Lofted, left center field, Yinkst, and it's caught. The left fielder, Kate Zacharias, comes up with the catch, and what a big catch for the Wildcats. As that is a, oh boy, that is a, if she doesn't make that catch, Windham scores really a couple more runs. At least 2 runs, sure. Maybe 3.
Sure, she did a nice job. I mean, a little bit of communication problem out there perhaps between Zacharias and Yinkst, but they were able to, Zacharias didn't back off the ball, which you might have had a tendency to do in that situation with 2 people coming together, and she made a nice catch on the ball.
So Windham comes up with 2 runs in that inning and 2 more hits, and they end up leaving 3 runners, so they have left 5 in the game. They come up with the 2-run double by Glantz, but really, I think York dodged a bullet because Windham seemed to be poised to really jump on them there and score some runs, Keith, and I think they get out of it pretty good. Bases loaded, nobody out, and only 2 runs.
Oh yeah, I think they did absolutely. No question, they dodged a big bullet there because they were in a situation where the bases loaded, no outs, and Glantz comes up and hits that 2-run double, and then they load the bases again. So things were looking bad there for York, and they got a couple. They got the 3rd called strike, and then the pop out in the infield to Demaray, and then the nice catch in the outfield there. So again, the defense played a factor for York, coming up with some big plays when they needed to.
See how Kelly Glantz pitches here in the 3rd inning. She has retired 4 batters in a row for the Eagles and has struck 4 batters out here through the first 2 innings. As you see, Tracy Yinkst, who is prepared to bat for the Wildcats. It will be the top of the order, the 1-2-3 hitters, Yinkst, Demaray, and DeBerry. Yinkst has scored York's run, and that was after she was hit by a pitch. She hit by a pitch, stole second, moved to third on a wild pitch, and scored on a wild pitch.
Well, I think you can see why she's leading off. She's probably one of the faster girls on the ball club. Got on base. Coach Butler didn't hesitate much to send her to second, get her into scoring position, and make things happen.
She leads the team along with Kate Zacharias in steals this year. They both have 3. 0-2, the count to Yinkst. Ground ball right back to Glantz. Easy toss over to first, and there's 1 away. Both pitchers fielding their position well this afternoon. Both have been required to make an assist. 1 down for York, and here's Sam Demaray, who struck out in the 1st inning. Ball 1. That's a great angle from right behind the plate. That pitch coming right in, you really get a feel, Keith, for where it is, right at you. That one just catching the outside.
Yeah, that gives it to you. There's no question about it.
Hard shot down to third. And Abrams does pick it up at the last moment, bobbled it after the throw from Lee, and then picked it up.
Yeah, she stayed right with the ball, stayed focused. Excuse me, and as the ball came up, she bubbled it but picked it right back up again.
There's Bridget Lee,
good play.
3rd baseman, making the play. One player we haven't mentioned tonight for York, who is also not here, as DeBerry, the pitcher, is batting, is Becky Sama, who was batting .500 coming into this game at 3 for 6. She injured her knee in the Kennebunk game and will be out for at least 10 days. So York is really without 2 starters here. She was a starting center fielder, and they lost their starting catcher Martell, both to injuries.
Well, the way these 2 the people that are playing in their spot are playing today, you couldn't be able to tell it. I mean, they're giving good efforts, and it tells you a little bit of balance in that York ball club.
3-1 the count. Yinkst taking over for Sama in center field, and Orchard taking over for Martell behind the plate. Ball 4. DeBerry draws the walk. So that ends the streak of Glantz. She had retired 6 in a row up until that point. That is her second walk that she has given up in the game, and it brings up the first baseman, Joanna Brown. Brown walked in the first inning and takes a strike.
And really had a nice at-bat, even though she ended up with a walk.
Glantz calls for it and makes the catch right on the line, and the side is retired for the Wildcats. They get the run, 1 base runner, but can't move any further. So we have played 3 complete now from York High School. And taking a look at the Star Mountain Motor scoreboard, it is the Windham Eagles leading the York Wildcats 3-1.
Banking at the ocean, banking at the ocean.
For more than 135 years, Ocean National Bank has been an independent community bank, committed to preserving the quality of life in York County. That's why money deposited in Ocean National is invested with local York County families and businesses. If you want to invest in your community, bank with Ocean National.
Banking at the ocean, banking at the ocean.
Dave's IGA, York Village Shopping Center in York, is hometown proud. Proud to be serving their friends and neighbors the most delicious selection of fresh food items available. And to make sure you're getting the best value for your dollar, pick up Dave's IGA Super Savings Circular. The circular is available at the store every Monday morning and can be found in the York Weekly. So stop by Dave's IGA for all the great specials you've come to expect. Open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Dave's IGA, hometown proud.
From left to right is John Martin from the York County Post-Star, Karen Bowden of the Biddeford Journal Tribune, and fresh off the hardwood is John Heffernan of the Portland Press Herald.
The thing that impressed me with York was they knew that everybody had 5,000 to give.
Many people walk by and say, open by 20, open by 30.
Set up some open shots and picks and so forth, and it worked out very well.
Welcome back to more Spotlight. As we promised, we've got a lot more to talk about on the show, and we will continue with some morning sessions.
You are watching TCI of Southern Maine, Channel 12 Sports. Steve Twombly, high above the York
Is that
dugout.
that guy up there?
Yeah, that's Steve. Yeah,
Oh,
guy's
wow.
all bundled up with a Bruins cap on there. I'm surprised he's wearing that after they got swept by Buffalo.
I would be caught dead wearing a Bruins cap. But that's a diehard Bruins fan, I guess, huh?
That is. Steve is. Steve is a diehard Bruins fan. Strike 1 to Bridget Lee, the leadoff hitter here in the top half of inning number 4. Windham leading York 3-1. Eric Nelson with Keith Trefethen here on Channel 12. Glad that you could join us. It will be Lee, Swan, and McVeigh, the 9-1 and 2 hitters, to face Brenda DeBerry, the sophomore pitcher for York.
Coach Butler talked to Brenda after that last half inning, probably just talked to her a little bit about what she's doing out there, and then he sends her back out again. So, you know, a chance to show that he has some confidence in her to do the job, and she gets an opportunity to go back out there and just work on maybe the little things that they talked about in that half inning.
3-1 the count. And walks the leadoff batter. So it's the third time in 4 innings that Windham has managed to put the leadoff batter aboard. Windham scored 1 run in the first and 2 more in the second. And York scored their run in the first inning. Leadoff batter, Whitney Swan. She scored twice today, singled and walked. 2-0. And 3-0. Kate Cheney was loosening a couple of innings ago, but she is not warming up now. Pitch is popped up, and Orchard will not have a play. Just over the backstop. Well, it shows you what you have to do, Keith. You have to throw strikes. You have to make the hitters turn them into hitters. Yeah.
Sure. You don't want to be throwing anything but strikes. You want to create a situation where your defense is helping you, and York's defense has come through with some nice plays out there today for DeBerry. She's walked 2 batters here, and it'll be interesting to see how long Coach Butler will go with her in this particular situation with 2 straight walks, and see what she does here with this 3rd batter.
Well, this is the same situation she was in the 3rd inning, where she walked the first 2 batters, got herself into trouble, ended up giving up 2 runs, and then pitched out of it. So she's getting into the heart of the order. Here's Lisa McVeigh, the number 2 hitter. She has singled and walked. And there's ball 1 to her, that pitch tailing inside. Strike 1. DeBerry has walked 6 and allowed 4 hits to this point. Has struck out a batter along the way. Over Orchard, both runners will move up.
That's where the situation with the backstop, no matter where it is, isn't going to help you with that pass ball situation where the runners are going to advance from 1st to 2nd, 2nd to 3rd in this respect.
2-1 the count to McVeigh. And the pitch is low. DeBerry taking a look into the dugout. 3-1 is the count. Right over the heart of the plate. Now it's a full count with first base open, nobody out. Windham leading here by a pair, 3-1. Ground ball, DeBerry fields it to first. Brown, now they've got Lee in a pickle. Orchard, back to 3rd, back to Orchard. Brown, boy, this is the world's longest rundown.
Nice
Brown
play.
finally tags her out. They're the runner now going to 3rd, and she advances. Boy, a smart play by Swan.
Nice job. DeBerry goes to 1st. They get that out. Brown brings the ball home to Orchard. Then they get into a rundown situation, and you could see where the girls kept switching spots and continuing to keep the rundown in excellent condition. Just did a great job. And Coach Butler's coming out to talk to Brenda at this point, DeBerry, and to see if in fact how she feels, what he wants to do in this particular situation. I think. And he's going to make a switch right here. Looks like Kate's ready to go, and a good, really not a bad situation. Brenda did a nice job in that last hitter, got the ball, got the out situation. Then they got the run down, so they get 2 outs there. She leaves on a good positive note, as opposed to leaving in a situation where we giving up a couple runs and then having to have Kate come in and take over. Here, you've got somebody who has pitched for you in the past, has got some good experience in pressure situations, so obviously good time to bring her in.
So Kate Cheney will come on to pitch, and for those of you who are scoring, and I think I have this correct, if memory serves me correctly, that putout of Bridget Lee at 3rd base, and listen to this one, Keith, you'll love this one. 1 to 3 to 2 to 5 to 2 to 5 to 3 to 5 to 3. I think is how that play would be scored. We'll check the videotape on that. I know our director, Paul Mannion, is chomping at the bit. He goes, Eric, I think you've got it right, but I can't wait to go back and check that tape.
Only you, Eric, would think of something as obscure as that at this point.
I don't know if I'll take that as a compliment or not, Keith. But Joanna Brown tagged Bridget Lee out, and that was the 2nd out of the inning.
That's all that mattered.
That's all that mattered. Huh?
Good rundown situation, though, and I like the way York, again, sometimes those situations are hard to to explain. A lot of times people will give, other defensive players will give up after the first throw. They make a throw and then they say, well, geez, I'm out of this situation, instead of rotating back and getting back into position that perhaps they're going to be needed again. And these girls stayed right there in position and were ready to make the put out.
Okay, Kate Cheney comes on to pitch. This is her third appearance this year, a record of 1-0. She has pitched 4 innings, allowed 4 runs, 1 of them earned, has allowed 1 hit, not struck out a batter, and walked 7. As that is strike 1 to the first batter to face her, the second baseman, Julie Tyler, who was 1 for 2 today with a single. Cheney impressively has an earned run average of 1.75. And one thing you will know, if DeBerry threw slow, Cheney may possibly even throw slower, but the nice thing is she does usually put the ball over the plate.
Yeah, she's got some good control, and she's been in these situations before where she's learned under fire. I remember being here a few years ago when she was put in under situations where, you know, it's tough for kids to respond, and she did a good job for this ball club.
Hit hard, left center, and caught out there in left field. Kate Zacharias, Keith, has made a couple of nice catches in left.
Done a nice job out there in left field. Again, you could see there, she turned and started moving with the pitch, but never took her eye off the ball, had her glove up, ready to make the catch, and just a picture-perfect move on the ball.
So Windham leaves 2 more runners, as you see Bob Butler, in his 7th year as head coach of the Wildcats last year, brought them to the playoffs once again, into the quarterfinals where they lost to state champion Lisbon. He is talking to his team, 2-time champions back in '88 and '89, and played a number of times in the Western Maine Championship. He's hoping to have another season like that. But the Eagles in that inning again, Keith, leave 2 batters. They've left 7 runners here through the first 4 innings.
You know they could score runs, and what's helping New York at this point is their good defense. They're getting some good defensive efforts, good heads-up play out there defensively, and it's keeping them right in this ballgame.
Okay, Kelly Glantz on to face the York part of the order. That is the 5, 6, and 7 hitters. McCardle, Plaisted, and Brown. The unofficial line score through 3.5 innings here from York High School. Windham 3 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. They have left 7. For the Wildcats, 1 run on no hits, 1 error. They have left 3. So Glantz, even though she's not pitching a shutout, takes a no-hitter into the 4th inning, and she has not allowed a hit this year. She no-hit the team that she faced first game of the year, which was Lake Region High School. So she's gone 8+ innings without allowing a hit. McCardle in the ball game 0 for 1, reached on an error in the first inning. And 2-1 the count. Ball 3, McCardle has a good eye. Tied for the team lead in walks with Becky Sama with 6. Three and 2. You kind of see her expression there. She says, yep, that was a good one.
Yeah, the ball was right there where it needed to be.
Low for ball 4. She stayed patient and draws the leadoff walk. And it's the 2nd time in 4 innings that York has put their leadoff runner on. 3rd walk given up by Kelly Glantz. Here's Lindsay Plaisted. Plaisted got behind to the count 0-2, fouled off a couple of pitches, and eventually lined out to Tyler at 2nd in her only at bat. And again, she's down in the count 0-2.
Swung at that one ball a little high, perhaps, out of the strike zone, but those are the ones a lot of people go after.
Takes a look at that one in the dirt. Windham leading here 3-1, home half of the 4th inning from York High School. You're watching TCI of Southern Maine, Channel 12. Two and 2. Low for ball 3. Playstead has battled back. She's walked once this year so far. But York batters now are being very patient, Keith. Ball 4.
Well, Glantz has been up and down, side to side, and has lost a little bit, perhaps, of that consistency that we saw earlier in the game. She's not displaying at this point. So I think if York stays patient, again, they get runners in certain situations, things can happen for them.
Brown tried to lay the bunt down and missed it.
Again, with a bunt situation, you're trying to advance those 2 runners into scoring position, and anything can happen then.
Here's Liza Brown, the shortstop, a strikeout victim in the second. Strike 2. Glantz has struck out 4 in the game and has also walked 4. She had retired 6 in a row, Keith, until 2 outs in the third. Now has walked 3 of the last 4 batters. Ground ball hit down to Swan, over to second for 1, and they cut the middle runner out, and that's the first out of the inning.
Well, all it does is it creates that, continues to create that double play situation, but it looked like about the only play they could make at that point was to go to second and get the force.
So Swan tossing over to Tyler. So Liza Brown is safe on the fielder's choice at first base, and the Wildcats have runners at the corners with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th, and it's going to bring up Kate Zacharias. And Zacharias made a couple of nice plays in the outfield in this game to prevent any further runs for Windham. Bluff the bunt, and Brown takes second easily.
Again, you don't know what's going to happen in that situation. See, the first baseman held, the second baseman has to go to second to cover, and that didn't happen. She seemed to break the first.
Definitely had a play on his lead. The third baseman couldn't have been more than 10 or 12 feet away from the batter, anticipating that bunt. Two and 0 the count. Strike 1. So Brown, I guess we get credit for a stolen base. Their second steal of the year. That is a foul ball. Abrams, the first baseman, just fielded it in foul territory. That's one of those line huggers where you have to make a decision if you're a first baseman, Keith. Either you're going to play it like she did real quick, or you're going to let it roll. And she took it foul.
That's exactly what you have to do in that situation. Once it goes foul, you want to keep it foul and make it foul.
Hit back, Glantz, looks McCardle back to third.
She's caught.
And she will get back. They run her back to the base. So Zacharias is retired 1-3, and that's the second out of the inning. York really needs a base hit here, Keith. Runners at second and third, the tying runs at second base, 2 outs in the 4th. You know, Glantz hasn't allowed a hit. They need one.
You know, if they get a base hit here, they could possibly score 2 runs, tie it up, and puts a lot more pressure on, I think, a visiting team to come back and respond under those circumstances as well.
Here's Orchard. Orchard is 0 for 1 in the game. Got caught looking and struck out in the second inning. Count to her is 1-1. Got a piece of it and foul down the right field line.
Would have been an awful nice place to put the ball down the right field line with runners on first and second.
Would have been a real tough play for Diamond to try to throw that second runner out at the plate if they were going to send Brown. 1-2 the count to Orchard. McCardle, and they're going to hold it. Oh, nice play by the catcher, McCormick. Heather McCormick was right on that.
Yep, and he had good cover by Glantz at home. They had that one smelled right out. That wouldn't never been a safe play at home on that particular play.
Oh, McCardle got about a third of the way down and says, I think I'm heading back. Orchard, base hit into right field. McCardle comes around. Here comes Brown, the throw to the plate. Safe under the tag, and we're tied at 3. Big 2 RBI hit for Sharon Orchard.
Excellent job. ball's there. You know, the ball comes through, and you knew they were going to. Coach Butler was going to send both runners to score in that particular situation. The ball seemed to be there in McGovern's glove, but the tag was a little high, and the slide through scores that second run, and we tie this game up.
And that is the first hit surrendered by Kelly Glantz. A 2-out single here in the fourth by Sharon Orchard. And we are tied as Tracy Yinks the batter. And Brown just under the tag. A couple of runs for York have been very close at the plate, sliding under tags. And Yinks was one of those. She scored a run back in the first. So quite a ball game here, Keith. 3-3, bottom four. Good catch by McCormick. 2-1 the count to Yinks. She is 0 for 1 in the game, hit by a pitch and bounced back to the pitcher. Ground ball. Nice play made by Abrams at first base, and the side is retired, but York comes up with 2 big runs thanks to their first hit of the game from Sharon Orchard. And after 4 complete innings from York High School on the Star Mountain Motor scoreboard, the Wildcats have tied it here against the Eagles. We are deadlocked at 4. Thought she was out.
I see in your future an exotic place. Where? The most delicious food, finest wines, happy, friendly people all around you.
Please, tell us, where are we going?
Your every whim indulged.
Wait a minute. That sounds like Litchfield's.
Hey, stop peeking in my crystal ball.
It's clear. Litchfield's, Route 1, Wells.
Babies love being born at York Hospital. All of these babies did. Mothers love it too. At York Hospital, there are no surprises for mother or baby. When you come to the hospital to give birth, there are no strangers taking care of you. No change in shift personnel, people you have never met or seen before. When you have a baby at York Hospital, you're cared for by your nurses, ones who have shared your pregnancy, your delivery, and are there for you after delivery. Your doctor and your nurses, who know you, your concerns, and your desires, will be on hand at this most important time of your life. All of these beautiful babies were born at York Hospital. Why not yours? We invite you to call us and learn more about our unique birthing program, designed to meet the needs and desires of mothers, babies, and the entire family. Why not make York Hospital your hospital? York Hospital, just across the bridge from New Hampshire.
Back at York High School, we move to the top of inning number 5. We are tied at 3-3. Windham with a run in the first and 2 in the third. And for York, a run in the first and 2 more in the fourth. So Kate Cheney on to pitch her first complete inning of relief. She came in to get the last batter out in the 4th inning, and she will face the opposing pitcher, Kelly Glantz. As we go to the 5th, Glantz, Swan, and Diamond, 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Glantz in the ball game, 1 for 2 with a 2 RBI double. Glantz had the big blow with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning. Strike 1. So Brenda DeBerry, for her, unofficially, pitched 3 2/3 innings, allowed 3 runs, 2 of them earned, allowed 4 hits, walked 6, and struck out 1. So that was the unofficial line on Brenda DeBerry's debut on the mound for the Wildcats in a varsity uniform.
Again, as I said, she left on a positive note, got some good outs, and got through a situation where, you know, and you think about it, only allows, 3 runs for this high-powered offense of Windham. I mean, you got to feel good about that.
Team that's averaging 18 runs a game. Cheney walks the leadoff hitter Glantz. So Windham, again, the only inning they have failed to get the leadoff person on was back in the 2nd when DeBerry got him 1, 2, 3. Gets away from Orchard and out of play. That will allow Glantz to go to second. The batter, Payson Swan, the shortstop. She has walked twice. It's 1-1 the count. They get into this, don't they? I don't know if you can hear that at home or not, but that Windham team is into this one as Cheney. That's a tough pitch. That ball's coming up there real slow, and Swan just swung right through it.
You have to be very, very patient. Sit back and really take your time and concentrate on the ball.
Got her. Dropped. Orchard throws to Brown at first. Glantz goes to third. It is nicely backed up. So the drop strike allows Glantz to move to third base.
Yeah, advancement on that strikeout with the drop, as you said, and Windham would love to get a 2-out run here if they possibly could.
Well, it'd help if they got a 1-out run too. There is 1 out in the inning. So I remind you of that, Keith.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
I thought that was two.
Diamond bunts it foul. Trying to squeeze across to run there.
Well, the last thing you want to do is, if you're going to bunt the ball, two things you don't want to do: pop the ball up and lay the ball down on third. You want to be dragging that down first base, and she did both things wrong.
Swings away. Liza Brown makes the catch. Keeps it in the infield, and a big out for the Wildcats. Go-ahead run sitting at third base. York, knock on wood if there's any wood in this truck, have played good defense, Keith.
There's no wood in this truck, but yes, they have played good defense. Except for my head, perhaps.
Lauren Abrams, the batter, the first baseman. Orchard makes a nice stop. Abrams in the ball game 0 for 2. She is grounded to the shortstop and popped to the third baseman. Glantz is at third. The potential go-ahead run here with 2 outs in the 5th. Hit foul. Count is 1-1, and Carolyn Vale, a home plate umpire, looking for some extra softballs. Got a couple of foul balls, so they'll have to gather some here. Of course, the big thing here, you can't just get any softball, Keith. Got to get a decent one.
Don't want one that's been punched around a little bit. The term softball really really comes out when they're hit a lot.
Foul ball. Get back to the screen. Well, the worst thing you want to see, and I pitched in a men's league, you never like to see a new ball come into the game. Guy hits a home run off you, and they give you a new ball, so the next guy can do the same thing.
You're not supposed to give up home runs.
Yeah, I know. Hit hard at Demaray.
What a great play.
Brown can't come up with it. The throw brought her off the bag, and Windham leads 4-3.
Yeah, Demaray does a great job with the ball, and then she gets a little too excited about throwing it. She needed to slow down and really take her time and make a good throw, and she didn't. And Brown really stretched her body out to try to protect that ball from going through and just couldn't do it.
Boy, every run big now as that puts the Eagles up 4-3. That is the second error in the game for York. Abrams safely at first base, and here's Heather McCormick, the catcher. Runner moves up to second on the stolen base.
Again, Windham, they're not hitting the ball as well as they'd like to at this particular point, so they're going to start moving runners by trying to steal and create opportunities for themselves as well.
Foul ball, Orchard, no play. 1-1 the count. Abrams, that was the first steal for Windham in this game. McCormick, the batter, is 0 for 2. She's grounded to third and flown to the left fielder. Hit hard, right at Liza Brown. Throws to first for the putout, so some good defense again by the Wildcats, and the side is retired in the 5th, but Windham comes up with a big run off of no hits in that inning, and they take a 4-3 lead.
Yeah,
Keith.
they took advantage of what they were given and come up with a run. And again, you know, that's a situation where you want to be very patient when the ball comes to you, particularly at third base. A lot of times, a lot of third basemen will come up with the ball real quick and think they have to make a quick play. That time, if Demeray had taken just a half a second more, I think she would have made that little better throw that she would have liked to have thrown. But that cost them a run there. They come up with a unearned run and pick up 4-3 lead at this point. The Windham Eagles do.
Okay, the unofficial line score so far: Windham 4 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. They have left 8, and York 3 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, or 2 errors, excuse me, and they have left 4. For the Wildcats, coming up later this week on Wednesday, May 5th, they are at Lake Region to face the Lakers. On Friday, May 7th, they are at Greeley to play the Rangers. And then a week from today, on Monday, the 10th, they are back here at home to face one of the other very good teams in the Western Maine Conference, the Scarborough Redskins. So a full week for the Wildcats. We will be here next week to do the baseball game between Scarborough and York. You can catch that later next week, the week of the 10th, here on Channel 12. And next week, next Monday and Tuesday, Telegram League Baseball, Edward Little and Sanford on Monday and Tuesday at 7:30. Here's Demeray to lead off the 5th for the Wildcats. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for York. Demeray 0 for 2 in the game, a strikeout and a ground out. Hit it hard, but it's foul. It's one of the hardest hit balls, Keith, we've seen. Brown hit one hard foul earlier in the game.
She stretched right out and just took that ball. But again, you know, you're anticipating a good pitch, but from Glatz, and you're right on it and ready to go.
2-1 the count. Glances allowed just 1 hit, and it was a big one. A 2 RBI single by Sharon Orchard in the 4th inning. Bottom of the 5th, York trailing 4-3. Strike 2. So a full count to Sam Demeray. Fouled off once again. Fouled off another one. Just past Rob Fernhaber. I thought Rob was going to have to go out and field that one, but just beyond him and right near where Phil Cheney's standing. So 2 strikes remains the count to Sam Demeray. Got her out. Struck her out swinging. That's Glance's first strikeout since the 2nd. Her 5th in the game.
Yeah, it looked like the ball just continued to rise. It looked like it was going to be down low, and Demeray swings a nice level swing. The ball just seemed to keep coming up on her and got by.
Here's Kate Cheney, strike 1 to her. Cheney on the season, 1 for 2, batting .500 with a run and a stolen base. Hits the pitch down to the third baseman Lee. Oh, nice arm over to first base. And Cheney is retired for the 2nd out. So 2 up and 2 down for York in the 5th. And here is the first baseman, Joanna Brown. 0 for 1 in the game. She has walked and popped to the pitcher. Strike 1 to Brown. Low and inside, 1-1.
Glance looks like a young lady out there possessed after York gets 2 runs and ties it up 3-3, and then they come back and get the go-ahead run. She's been tough on the mound since then.
2-2 the count to Joanna Brown. Hit hard off of Glance's leg. It's going to be a close play. Brown safe. A base hit right off of her left shin, I think.
Yep, good try by Glance. He stayed right after the ball, and if she was able to pick it up barehanded and make the play, perhaps she'd have been able to get it, but just didn't make it.
That is York's second hit, an infield single for Joanna Brown. She hit the ball hard right off of Glance's left shin, it looked like, and Mark Serber, the head coach, will head out to take a look at her. The type of thing that stings for a little bit, and then it goes away. May have a black and blue for a few days after that.
Perhaps, but you know, the thing is, you got to stay right after him.
Going to take a couple of warm-ups here to make sure that everything's functioning properly. And she took 1 warm-up, so she's fine. It's going to bring up Chrissy McCardle, the right fielder. McCardle 0 for 1, reached on an error and walked. She has scored one of York's 3 runs as Joanna Brown scoots to second on the wild pitch. So now the Wildcats here with the tying run at second base. One and 1 to McCardle. McCardle, 2 runs batted in this season. Low for ball 2. Three and 1. So York trying to mount a little 2-out rally.
Well, we've seen that already in this game.
Strike 2, so McCardle and Glance battling here, and the count is full. Brown, the runner at second, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Strike 3, got her looking, and Glance pitches out of that minor jam after having the ball glance off her leg. Had to say that. Had to say that. We got to take a break. Sponsors are yelling at me for that one. All right, taking a look at the Star Mountain Motor scoreboard after 5 innings from York High School. The Eagles leading the Wildcats 4-3.
Joanne's Gardens, Route 9 in Wells, is your full-service florist. Joanne's has a large variety of green and flowering houseplants, along with a large selection of cut flowers. With 28 years in the business, the Farley family has always provided the personal touch, from fruit baskets, balloons, and stuffed animals to custom-ordered silk-dried or fresh flower arrangements. No matter what the season, Joanne's Gardens has all the items needed to brighten your day or someone else's. Located across from the Maryland Ridge Restaurant on Route 9 in Wells, Joanne's Gardens, where your satisfaction is guaranteed.
Come on, let the good times roll at Bowlerama. 20 lanes of candlepin bowling for all ages. Bowlerama has men's, women's, mixed, and junior leagues. Every Friday evening, it's Rock and Roll Bowl, where strikes turn into instant cash. Come on, let the good times roll. Plan your next party at Bowlerama. The transportation's on us.
Welcome back, everyone, to York High School on TCI of Southern Maine's Game of the Week. Eric Nelson and Keith Trefethen. In this Western Maine Conference softball game, Windham leading York 4-3 as we go to the top of inning number 6. Our next Game of the Week broadcast here on Channel 12 will be a Telegram League baseball game next Monday and Tuesday at 7:30. It's Edward Little and Sanford. coming to you from Goodall Park. You don't want to miss that one. It should be a good one. Bridget Lee hitting that ball high to right field, and McCardle with the catch. So the outfield for York continues to play well. Made some good plays in the outfield. It's only the second Windham batter who swung at the first pitch. Top of the order, Whitney Swan. Swan 1 for 1. A single and 2 walks. She scored twice. Hit it hard, right at Brown at shortstop.
Well, that's what you want out of your pitching.
Oh, 2 up, 2 down on 3 pitches. Kate Cheney into her second complete inning of relief. She came in with 2 outs in the 4th. Retired the batter she faced there and then pitched the 5th and now moves into the 6th. Here's Lisa McVeigh, the junior left fielder. Strike 1, Cheney right around the plate. McVeigh 1 for 2. Singled, walked, grounded to the pitcher. 0-2. Ball high. 1-2 the count. For York in the bottom of the inning, it's the 6, 7, and 8 hitters scheduled. 2-2. Those hitters being Playstead, Brown, and Zacharias. Hit it hard. Oh, caught by Brown. Wow. What a play by Liza Brown as Windham hit the ball hard, but York making the defensive plays.
Oh, just what happened that time is Brown got a great jump on the ball, and what helped her also was coming off that left-handed batter's bat. It just came right back into her a little bit, and she was able to make the play. Just a nice job.
Wow, great play. Liza Brown catching a couple of line drives that inning. And that is the second 1-2-3 inning that York pitching has had in this game. DeBerry had one back in the second, as you see Coach Mark Serba walking back into the dugout. Nothing much he could do, Keith. He just kind of had to shake his head after that one. His batter in that situation, McVeigh, hit the ball extremely well, but Brown made a great play.
Yeah, you couldn't add, you know, Windham seems to be hitting the ball, but they're hitting it right at somebody. So, and when they're not, the defense that York is bringing up there, particularly on that Brown exchange, shows you nice defensive effort.
Okay, we go to the home half of the 6th. And don't forget, every Wednesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m., actually right after, or at 7 p.m., right before this game, you can watch Sportlight. The sports writers talk about what's happening in high school sports, including York High School and all the other teams that we cover locally on Channel 12. So find out about this game and many others every Wednesday and Thursday at 7 o'clock on Channel 12. That's Sportlight. 2-0 to Lindsay Playstead, leadoff hitter for the Wildcats here. She is 0 for 1. Line to the second baseman and walked. 2-1 the count. York trailing 4-3 in the 6th. Foul tip. Strike 2. Don't forget, coming up after the game, our Sports Talk player of the game. Keith and I will be talking to the player of the game and the head coach right after the conclusion of this one. Hit hard, base hit. Into right field, Playstead reaches. There's the third Wildcat hit in this game.
Again, hitting the ball where it's pitched. The ball seemed to be on the outside part of the plate, and just making good contact and taking the ball where it's hit. And again, York is getting some timely hits where we saw him come up with those 2 runs.
Brown, nice bunt. Lee with a good throw to first base. And the potential tying run has moved to second.
Well, we've got some 2 really good third basemen in this game. Demaray and Lee. Lee was right on the play, coming up with a nice throw over to first to get the out there. But for York, down by 1, they've got a runner in scoring position where they want him, and see if they can do something.
Here's Kate Zacharias, who is 0 for 2. Hard foul. Almost squeezed that one inside the first base line. So the Wildcats with 1 out in the 6th, trail at 4-3. The 2 innings where they put the leadoff runner on, they scored. That was in the 1st and the 4th. Strike 2. Got a piece of it, and it's caught by McCormick, the catcher. Foul ball. It's not like baseball where it's 3rd strikeout, huh? Unless I missed something there. Right to the shortstop. Swan makes the catch, and there's 2 outs. Well, one of the pitches must have been a ball, Keith, I guess. But anyway, Zacharias is retired. So York once again will ask catcher Sharon Orchard to come up with a big play. She had that 2 RBI single in the 4th that tied the game. She's got a chance to do it again here with the tying run at 2nd. Orchard 1 for 2. She has struck out and got the big single. When she's looking to hit there, that's strike 2.
Yeah, she chased that one. The ball started out low and then came right up, rose right up into out of the strike zone.
0-2 the count. Popped it up out of play. So she stays alive in the count. Big at bat here for the Wildcats, trailing by a run. Orchard lets it go, and that's ball 1. Playstead, the runner at 2nd, led off the inning with a single to right and was sacrificed over by Brown. She's going, and she will make it to 3rd. And with the count 2-2, now it sets up, Keith, as a potential of another wild pitch may tie the game. And Bob Butler calling time to talk to the base umpire.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in those circumstances. Maybe just getting a clarification of something perhaps. But certainly he needed to know right off because I think he felt it perhaps affected him, so he wanted to know.
2-2 the count to Orchard, tying run at 3rd. 3-2, McCormick keeps it near her. So 3-2, and the drama builds. Kelly Glantz, here's the pitch. Foul tip, Orchard stays alive. Whew. Big juncture in the game here, bottom of the 6th. York is starting to run out of chances.
Yeah, threatening to tie this thing up.
The 3-2. Shallow pop, and it's caught by Swan at shortstop, and the side is retired. Glantz gets out of trouble. The leadoff single does not come around to score, and we have played 6 complete innings from York High School. And on the Star Mountain Motor scoreboard, Windham leading York 4-3.
You've seen Ken Plord at Biddeford football games for years. Now you can see Ken at his California paint store, York County Paint and Supply.
This is what I've got on my own house, and it's been on my own house for almost 9 years now. I've had California strictly on my house. They put their reputation in the can, and once you're a California dealer, you don't want to be anything else.
We guarantee you'll be back. not only for the paint, but for Ken Plord's expert service. York County Paint and Supply, 418 Elm Street, Biddeford.
Generally, when I've got a customer, they come back.
If you have an interesting story you would like to see on County Roads, submit your story idea in writing to County Roads in care of TCI of Southern Maine, Post Office Box 475, Moody, Maine, 04054. And make sure you leave a return address and a phone number so we can get in touch with you.
Top of the 7th from York High School on TCI of Southern Maine Sports Game of the Week. From York High School, Eric Nelson and Keith Trefethen brought you a good one here this afternoon. The undefeated Windham Eagles at 3-0, leading the 3-1 York Wildcats 4-3. As we go to the 7th inning, it'll be Tyler, Glantz, and Swan, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for Windham. Windham hit the ball hard in the 6th inning, but York with some good defensive plays, especially by Eliza Brown to end the inning.
Again, York has played that good defense all day long, and consequently has kept them in this ball game, I think, because of their defensive ability.
Kate Cheney into her 3rd complete inning of relief. High ball, stopped by Brown. Oh boy, made it kind of close. She throws from her knees in the hole, but it's an infield hit for Tyler.
Did a nice job. I thought the ball was all the way through for an easy base hit, but Brown puts a glove on it and stops it.
That's the first hit surrendered by Kate Cheney. She has pitched 2 1/3 so far in relief of Brenda DeBerry. There you see Liza Brown showing some glove here in the last couple of innings. There's strike 1 to Glantz. And Orchard tossing down to first. Glantz in the ball game is 1 for 2. Really been the story. She has grounded out, doubled, and walked. She has also scored a run. Hits it hard, deep to left field. Zacharias makes the catch. Just in foul ground. 1 out. I'll tell you, Glantz, Keith, has had a couple of good rips at the ball, but has just that double to show for it.
Yeah. Again, she got it under that too much, and with this York outfield, they've shown us today the ability to come after the ball and pick up the fly balls when they need to. And Zacharias again comes up with an easy play.
Here's Payson Swan, the shortstop. She's walked twice and struck out. And that's the type of pitch that she struck out on before, Keith. Just she's ahead of the ball.
Yeah, she's way ahead of the ball right now. She really needs to concentrate on making good hard contact with the softball, and maybe the motion is turning her off a little bit.
Runner moving up to second base off the wild pitch. So an insurance run is at second base for Windham here with 1 out in the top of the 7th. 2-1 the count to Swan. Hits it foul.
The way this game is going, I think you need an insurance run.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't want to be Windham to go into the bottom of the 7th, ahead by 1 run, regardless of who's coming up for York. You know, they seem to find a way to get that run if they need it.
Fouled again. York does have the top of their lineup scheduled for the 7th inning. Yingst, Demaray, and Cheney, the 1, 2, 3 hitters. Two and 2 the count to Swan. Tyler, the runner, at second base with 1 out. Strike 3. And that's the 2nd out and a big out. Second strikeout for Cheney. She's gotten Payson Swan twice.
Good job. Big strikeout there. You know, a situation where you, if they get a base hit, you think
Brown again. Oh my goodness. Liza Brown saves a run as she steals Kristen Diamond's potential base hit in the left field. Boy, she has saved the Wildcats a couple of runs, Keith.
You know, a couple things. You know, it's high for her height, the range that she has. We saw her dive to her left and come up with a great line drive. This time she jumps up, and most of the time you would think your standard shortstop would be a little shorter than her, but she really gained some, traveled some distance to get some balls for this ball club, and does an excellent job out there. Again, not an exception there when she jumps up and grabs that one.
So York is down to their last call here as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. You see the crowd. They're all looking on here. The line score for Windham, 4 runs on 5 hits and 1 error. They have left 9 for York as we go to the bottom of the 7th. 3 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors. And they have left 6. And it looks to me that a men's softball league game is ready to move in here. We got some guys throwing on the sidelines. But this is it for York. They'll have Yinks, Demaray, and Cheney, the 1, 2, 3 hitters, as some rally caps have gone on the York bench. Some of the girls have turned their caps around, trying to get a rally going as they trail it 4-3.
They need a rally here. They need to be patient at the mound, at the plate. Glantz has shown that she's been in and out. We'll see which one comes to the mound this half inning.
Yinks 0 for 2 with a run. Scored a run back in the first after she was hit by a pitch. Since then has grounded out twice. Two and 0. Center fielder in this situation, Whitney Swan, playing a number of steps over to right field. 2-1 to Yingst. Buffs the bunt. 3-1. She might be looking here, Keith. You want to try to get that leadoff batter on?
She's definitely looking here.
And ball 4. Yinks draws the walk. The tying runner's on base. 5th walk given up by Glantz. She has walked 5 and struck out 5.
You got to look for the bunt situation here as Lee moves in from third base, trying to get Yinks over to second.
Strike 1, runner is off. Out at second base. Yinks is thrown out.
What a play.
Boy, good throw from McCormick as Tyler puts the tag on at second base.
Excellent play. Tyler staying home and was ahead of it, and Yinks looked like she got a bad jump on the ball and was a little late getting into second. And unfortunately, you know, those are the ones that sometimes you like to have back.
1 strike to count to Demaray. Demaray 0 for 3 this afternoon. Hits it hard off of Lee. Ball goes out of play, and I think she'll be awarded second. Great catch made by the umpire, one-handed. That's an automatic 2 bases. That ball went out of bounds. And now you look back, Keith, and go, boy, if Yinks doesn't get thrown out, game's tied.
Game's tied in this situation right here with Demaray coming up with a great hit there.
So Demaray with the hot smash is at second base. And Kate Cheney, the batter. Big spot for Cheney here since coming on. Cheney has batted once, and she grounded to third. Hits it high and caught by Abrams. That's the second out. Well, this is it for York. You've got one of your best hitters up, Keith, tying runs at second base, 2 outs in the 7th.
You don't ask for anything more as a coach. You get yourself into position to tie the game, and that's what you want. You want to be able to be in a position to do it, and they're certainly here with Brown at the plate, and Demaray, who is probably one of your faster ladies on second base. So you figure in this situation, if the ball's hit hard enough and it goes through, they're going to be bringing her home.
Brown 1 for 2 with a single. She hit a ball hard off of Glantz's shin in the 5th inning for her base hit. Tying run at second base.
Yeah, they're going to pitch her.
Hit hard, center field. Swan makes the catch, and that's the game. Whitney Swan with the catch in center field, and Windham has defeated York 4-3.
You couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, a great ball game here this afternoon. Both ball clubs really bartering for position of the lead here, and it comes down to that last situation with Windham holding on to beat the Wildcats here this afternoon by the score of 4-3.
Okay, as the teams will shake hands at home plate. A well-played game, and the Eagles move to 4-0 on the season. They are undefeated. York drops to 3-2. Well, let's take a look at the line score from this ball game. For the Windham Eagles, 4 runs on 5 hits and 1 error. They left 9. For York High School, 3 runs on 4 hits. They made 2 errors and left 7. Stick around. Keith and I will be back with our Sports Stop Player of the Game in just a moment. The final score once again, Windham beats York 4-3.
Sports Stop! Equipment that's designed for winning. Racquetball, soccer, kicking. You can score all this and more. Sports Stop!
It's the season for sports, and Sports Stop is ready. We carry a large selection of sports equipment and accessories, so you don't have to go from store to store to find what you're looking for.
Here at Sports Stop, we're game for sports. Sports Stop!
If you live in York County and want local sports coverage, nobody does it better than the Journal-Tribune. We do more local sports than anyone, and we do it better. The Journal-Tribune is in your community every day with local sports stories. Stories about your family, your friends, your neighbors, and your favorite team. Local sports, nobody does it better than the Journal-Tribune.
And welcome back, everyone, to the postgame show here at York High School as the Windham Eagles defeat the York Wildcats 4-3. Windham now undefeated at 4-0, and joining Keith and I for the postgame show is the head coach of the Eagles, Mark Serber, and our Sports Stop Player of the Game tonight, Kelly Glantz, the winning pitcher for Windham. And Kelly, congratulations.
Thank you.
Kelly, a fine pitch game for you. You didn't allow a hit until the 4th inning. You had quite a streak after no-hitting Lake Region earlier in the season. How did you feel on the mound this afternoon?
Oh, a bit weak, but I didn't feel I did my best that I could do. But I did all right.
What was the problem early in the game, Kelly? What were the umpires instructing you to do? What was the problem?
Just show the ball. I guess I wasn't showing the ball too much, and just show them the ball, I guess. That's about it.
You had a pretty good day at the plate also, Kelly. You get that big double, I think it was in the 3rd inning when you came up with a couple of runs and took the lead. I noticed you hit the ball well all afternoon. Were you a little bit frustrated you only got 1 hit?
I got walked a lot, so I wasn't too disappointed.
What about the season so far? I know you have a lot of returning players on this club, a lot of girls who have played a number of years together now. You feel pretty confident that once you make it to the tournament that you can do some good work?
Definitely. We definitely can. We have a good team. Our team is great this year. We'll be there.
All right. Congratulations, Kelly. You win the plaque from Sports Stop in Sanford, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll let you go, and we'll talk to Coach. And Coach, she's a girl that obviously throws the ball very hard, and she kept the York hitters really off balance all afternoon. She did a good job for you.
She sure did. She's thrown the ball like that for 2 years for me.
What about the team itself, Coach? This was a very close game. You're used to scoring some runs. You've scored a lot of runs early in the season.
Well, we sure have, but take nothing away from New York. They played awful good defense on us today. Their shortstop in particular made some awful great stabs out there, and hey, that's the ball game.
Keith?
Coach, defensively, you guys look pretty good out there. Your third baseman, Lee, did an exceptional job for you. You've been getting that kind of effort all year long so far?
Oh, yeah, reasonably so, yeah. She booted one early there, but, she's been awful solid for the last 3 years for me over there, and, hey, we just keep going.
Now, other than Kelly, I understand you're pretty deep pitching. What else do you have for pitching for your ball club?
A girl that made the catch in center field for the last out in the 7th. She is a very quality pitcher. She's also a sophomore, classmate of Kelly's. And her younger sister is a freshman who played shortstop for us. Also a very, very good pitcher.
You get some young kids, and they look you look like you're primed and ready to go.
Oh, yeah. We hope so.
Congratulations, Coach, for the
Thanks
win.
a lot.
Thank you very much, Coach. Okay, as Windham victorious here by the score of 4-3. A couple of really good softball teams, Keith, that I think we're definitely going to see in the playoffs.
Oh, I think so too. Both these ball clubs are quality teams. They look like they're ready to play. They take care of the situation.